Ladies and gentlemen, America has a future, and I am so fucking excited, and I'm so tired. I was up so late last night, and then I couldn't get to bed because that was unbelievable! Yeah! Oh my God. What a night. What a stream with Dede Cobra, the homosexual man. We went for hours. It was...
wow.
We went for hours. We pounded. We pounded it. We went for hours. And
pounded it and you won.
Yeah, we won. We won. America won and roundly rejected woke, DEI, identity politics, the message, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Every institution that's behind that has been completely fucking mushroom stamped. It's fucking down. Fuck them. I'm so fucking happy today because, again, we have a future. And now the meltdown has begun. We have seen Hollywood melting down. Some people kind of quiet right now, Chris, like Mark Hamill.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
Very quiet. But they cashed their checks.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not getting paid anymore. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. The Hollywood celebrity got a stake in the heart last night. All of their credibility is gone. They had a chance, and they decided to sell out. I mean, like those celebrity endorsements towards the end, we were just discussing this. Pretty good authority, they're all paid for. So you have to ask yourself, why does Harrison Ford need money? I can understand Mark Hamill needing money because he can't fucking act, and he looks like he's drunk all the fucking time, and he's an idiot. So I can understand why he would need money, but why does Robert Downey Jr. need to go and do an Avengers video? Thanos was right, by the way. Avengers just got their ass kicked. Also want to point out in my video, it was the OG Avengers. You didn't see the new Avengers there. You didn't see Simu Liu. You didn't see Anthony Mackie. You didn't see Brie Larson. You didn't see any of them. But why did they do it so last minute? Is because they got paid. They got fucking paid. Yeah. So they didn't really believe it. They read scripts. They got paid, and that's where the line ends because we are in the era of authenticity, and legacy media will never be able to compete against you. Elon said it. We've said it before, as far as entertainment, but Elon said it last night. We are the media now. We're starting to see the meltdown. I mean, everybody was watching The View this morning. Right. This is the one time I watched the broadcast. I haven't watched CNN in years, dude. Same. Years. Other than clips on YouTube, I haven't fired up CNN. I couldn't even tell you when. Did it this morning. Did it with MSNBC. Joe Scarborough. Dude, did you see that clip? Holy
I did.
Shit.
Let's see it.
Democrats need to be mature, and they need to be honest. And they need to say, yes, there's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. Mm-hmm. It's misogyny from Hispanic men.
Right.
It's misogyny from black men.
Pause it for a second. Been warning you this was coming for a long time. Many years ago, they were, lack of diversity was singling out the white male. And then it turned into masculinity. And I said, the next people are coming out, the men. They're coming after men.
Just men.
Just men. And here they are. Straight up calling. It continues. Please continue.
Who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. The Democratic Party, I've always found when you're sitting around talking, they love to just sort of balkanize everybody into these separate groups and say, oh, white people don't like women and black people. No, it is time for the Democrats to say, okay, and you and I have talked about this before, a lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
Right.
A lot
and
of,
with other Hispanics. You got some that don't like each other. And some of the most misogynist things I've heard going on this Get Out the Vote tour came from black men. I mean, misogynist things. So you're absolutely right. It's not simplistic, and we've got to have real, honest conversations about it.
Real, honest conversations.
It's amazing how they came around to that, Chris.
Yeah.
That's the game of identity politics, ladies and gentlemen. They're never going to learn. And God bless them for being retarded. They have created this giant void in the truth and information that we, the public, will happily fill and destroy them. Absolutely destroy them. As long as there's a platform out there, and it's not, there's Joe Rogans and there's Tim Pools and stuff, but it's the thousands of people out there who are, talking to a couple hundred people, which is pretty awesome, by the way. And they're just, for lack of a better description, sorry, Christian, we are legion. We are fucking legion. And they can't stop it. So hearing something like that is it's so fucking funny, dude. But that's exactly how they think in Hollywood. And that's the way they've been casting directors, producers. They've been hiring talent. And that's why they have completely destroyed themselves as an industry. I mean, we had a bunch of articles leading up. I did a video on it of navel gazing and soul searching about the death of Hollywood. The people are unhappy. Your freedom has been saved too. Your way of life, your values, well, some of them have been saved too. Nobody's going to round up your daughters. It's not going to become the Handmaid's Tale, which is I've always believed has been like uber leftist porn. Hollywood reacts to Donald Trump. Bette Midler deletes X account. Man, the day's just getting better. Wow. Christina Applegate still reeling and sobbing, and Jamie Lee Curtis urges, be gentle. Well, were you guys gentle to us? I posted on Twitter. I just wanted to remind everyone that one of the reasons Hollywood lost, and Hollywood lost yesterday, is because Pedro Pascal's tweet after the election in 2020, where he called half the country Confederates, the bad guys from Germany. By the way, he's going to be in Fantastic Four. He's going to be in Last of Us Season 2. He's going to be in fucking everything. A lot of people remember that, including me. So now we have a bunch of very surprised movie stars. And even Cenk Uygur was out there going, if you thought this was going to be Kamala Harris, after he had a relation with a horse. If you thought this was going to be a Kamala Harris landslide, you have another thing coming. It's like, who in the hell thought it was going to be a landslide? And then we saw CNN refusing to call stuff. I don't think they called it till 3 a.m. They're hilarious. Or maybe this morning. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Update with additional reactions as Hollywood and New York wake up this morning to confirmation that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. The mood among many celebrities is one of deep disappointment and despair. Oh no. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be, Chris. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Hollywood was doing better under Donald Trump. There were more billion-dollar films. The box office was on average 10 to 15% higher than it was over the last couple of years. Maybe more. It might be more. Ticket sales were higher. There was more energy around the industry. A lot of work was being done, and not so much anymore. It's a war on women.
Oh, God.
Singer-songwriter Billie Eilish wrote on her Instagram story. So it's this one single damn issue, and that's where you fail too. It's women are individuals; they can think for themselves, and I don't think they're all hung up on one issue. I've done all I can, writes General Hospital star Nancy Lee Grahn, whose ex-Twitter postings have long been numerous and widely followed. I will be deleting all of my social media in protection of my daughter. I'm sorry. May God help us all. You don't believe in God. Get out of here. Bette Midler, also a frequent social media poster and staunch opponent of Trump, seems to have deleted her X account after posting a quote from H.L. McKinnon. When a candidate for public office faces the voters, he does not face men of sense. He faces a mob of men whose chief distinguishing mark is the fact that they are quite incapable of weighing ideas or even of comprehending any save the most elemental. Men whose whole thinking is done in the terms of emotion. Oh, whoa. This is some fucking projection here. I got to stop. This is some fucking projection. I will finish. and whose dominant emotion is dread of what they cannot understand. So confronted, the candidate must either bark with the pack or be lost. All the odds are on the man who is intrinsically the most devious and mediocre. The man who can most adeptly disperse the notion that his mind is a virtual vacuum. Oh, they're dumb. See, adult pretenders are under this impression that they're smart. The average IQ in Hollywood is basically functional retardation. And my favorite part is every time they do these little meltdowns, what they're essentially calling half the public again is stupid.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why they have a credibility problem.
Yeah.
And why couldn't Bette Midler check herself? Because she's being emotional right now. She's being fucking emotional.
Yeah.
And she's lashing out. And it's like, why are our ticket sales down? I mean, I just called half the country retarded, but they are, and they should know it because I can read and interpret other people's lines for a living better than they can. I can lie better than I can pretend better than they can. Don't they know who I am? Don't they know how important I am? Not anymore. That's one of the reasons Hollywood is freaking out right now, Chris, because their currency is ego, and losing relevance has got to be a wound that cuts deeply. As democracy is perfected, we're a constitutional republic, the office represents more and more closely the inner soul of the people. We move towards a lofty ideal, and some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be adorned by downright moron. TLDR, I can't believe I read all that. Thank you, Bet. Fuckity bye. Mia Farrow, whose husband left her for their stepdaughter, the longtime actress, current Broadway performer, and Kamala Harris supporter, tweeted a simple note. Looks like he will win again. God help us.
Why have they made this Hollywood celebrities' duty to chime in on this issue?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I see a lot of small indie movies. And I want to say to women and filmmakers of color, you don't have to say something about the obvious. And they feel obligated, which ends up making really terrible movies that don't bubble to the surface where you would even be aware of them, Gary. These are small indie films where a woman feels compelled to have to come down on an issue in her little indie movie. This happens all the time, and it ends up with a lot of crappy movies. But why do celebrities feel they even need to chime in? It's one thing to like get behind an issue. Hey, let's solve homelessness. Let's solve an issue. Even Michelle Obama had like what I thought was a really, innocuous, positive, everyone can get behind thing. Her thing was exercise. That was it. First ladies usually pick some sort of issue that is everyone agrees. No one's against it. Why can't celebrities just do that and focus on solving the issue rather than coming down against not just the candidate, but all the supporters of the candidate? It is so unwise.
It really is. Remember Schwarzenegger's thing when he was popular and everybody loved him was health.
Right. That's
health.
Great.
Yeah. Remember him doing that for the longest time. Then he became a shitty governor and then, moron. But Christina Applegate wrote, please unfollow me if you voted against female rights. Well, I haven't followed her, but I don't recall voting against female rights. What about the rights of women in sports to just compete against women? Is that, that would probably be something you'd want to defend, wouldn't you?
That's a female rights issue.
Yeah.
I believe.
Against disability rights. Who's against?
Yeah, who's against that?
Who's against that? They were making up so much shit and pulling it out of their ass over the last couple weeks. It's like, guys, this overall goes for Hollywood is like, this shit worked for a lot of years. I understand that. We're going to just run with a lie and the media will back us up. And if it gets fact checked, we'll either, back in the newspaper days, we'll put a correction in the back of the paper or we won't do one at all. And most people will just see the headline. But now people have access to a lot more information. There's fewer gatekeepers and they know you're full of shit and you're just continuing with the lie. If you have to lie to yourself to win, then do you deserve that win? If you do. Mm-hmm. And did you really win? No, the answer is no. If you have to cheat and you have to lie, you didn't win. But Let's get back to Christina Applegate. So against disability rights, yeah, that. Unfollow me because what you did is unreal. Don't want followers like this. So yeah, done. Also, after today, I will be shutting down this fan account I have had for so many years because it is sick. She was great and Married with Children. But later, she followed up, I apologize. I'm still reeling and sobbing, but I'm not angry anymore. Just going to go back to my bubble and watch a shit ton of Bravo shows. So peace to all. I suggest you do the same. Very soothing. Bravo. Is that still on? Is Bravo still around?
Not sure.
So much shit was broken or ended at the same time, and they went all in on streaming, and they fucked themselves so bad. They're having to go back to the older models that worked, which is smart. But then, of course, they did more damage to themselves with strikes. But the worst damage of all, just breaking the connection with your audience, making the audience your enemy. You'll never recover from that. Ever, ever.
The enemy and the habit, too. I mean, I still go to the movies every week. I mean, I had to force myself to. When movie theaters reopened, I got an A-list AMC membership, and I was determined. I'm going every week to the movies to see a movie, no matter what's playing, just to support this industry. Now, you know, it still hasn't returned to pre-2019. 2019 was a banner year.
Yes.
But it's never gotten some
not even close.
Not even close. Highlights here and there, Deadpool and Wolverine, or a blip here, Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, there's blips, but the consistent packed movie theaters, not there. Not there. It has not come back. It's all built up on tent poles, and the tent poles are like hate the audience, most of them.
Yeah. On Instagram, Jamie Lee Curtis posted a lengthy message predicting a more restrictive, some fear draconian time. Many fear their rights will be impeded and denied. Many minority groups and young people will be afraid because you're making them afraid. You're constantly out there telling people they're marginalized. The system's set up against them. Everybody, half the country fucking hates you. I mean, what else are they supposed to think? But in reality, none of that is true. None of that happened under Donald Trump's first presidency. None. Absolutely fucking none. And thankfully, a lot of people woke up to that. Gay and trans people will be more afraid. We know that many women will now find it difficult to get the reproductive health care that they need and deserve. Not in California. It'll be just fine in California because it's back to the states' rights. There's lots of states that you can do that in if you want. And making it your one issue is a loser. Making the manual transmissions and the automatic transmission kids an issue, political loser. Even Bill Maher was out there saying this is a absolute loser. Outside of the very interesting and strange amount of transmission kids there are in Hollywood, there aren't in the real world. It's not something anybody gives a fuck about at all. So that cost you, and will continue to cost you, by the way. For all those people, there will be those who will help you, me included. Jamie Lee Curtis, you don't give a shit.
Yeah. It was pretty red last night. I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed. I think if you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was America makes a perilous choice. I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have. And I remember my father telling me many, many years ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that.
Jesus.
So again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States. I think that going forward,
didn't happen.
Box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States you should
That I'm in favor of.
be prevented from employment in this country, because I remember applying for my jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons.
Well,
and so that box better be taken off. And I think our healthcare system is now at risk. I think
no fluoride for anyone.
Yeah, economists have made clear that he's going to increase the debt by $7.75 trillion. I'm worried about mass deportation and internment camps, and I'm also worried about Elon Musk warning Americans.
Pause.
Yeah.
Internment camps. I just want to point out that the closest we ever came to internment camps since fucking World War II was during COVID, when that was being floated out there. Our good friends in Australia actually made some and sent people to them. And they're politically way more aligned with this bitch than the person in office now. Fucking internment camps, you fucking... it's hyperbole, it's disingenuous, it's fear-mongering. And by the way, their side is currently involved in some skirmishes, we'll say, and one war.
I'm surprised at the result, but I'm not surprised. As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country.
And they can
I
be.
think that
they
it
went
had
up
nothing
and
to
they
do
got
with
voted
policy.
down.
I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Pause for a second. Can we point out that Jewish guy also left his previous family and banged the nanny, and like the press didn't cover any of this shit, any of it.
It's the disingenuousness of the other side that turns me off, and the riling up of hate. I see it in friends. I pretty much know the political views of most of my friends. But some people don't know, and they assume you're on a certain team. And it's weird to see they'll like in a mix, and I'll even see other colleagues in a mixed group, things they'll say about hating other fellow Americans out loud, say these things. And it's so hateful, and I'm like, I can always tell the ones that watch the news, because all they're doing is repeating things they heard. You know, they don't have no original ideas. That's why I say always think for yourself. Don't listen to the news. It's the Matrix. You're being fed stuff through a tube, and you repeat the stuff that you're told to think, and that's it. And I don't know how to wake people up. I really don't know, because there are people in my friend circle that are like that, are so anti and hate, and I'm like, it's ramped up like I have never seen it ever in my life.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.